Archana, they said that she, okay, so she can read for first. For as a matter of fact.
We have read it, Rankada.
Okay, read it, huh? Okay. So, all right, then I'll read each sentence. For as a matter of fact, we are in the paragraph in the chapter, the knowledge and the ignorance. Okay. Again, I remind you that Srendra is discussing the reality and the unreality of the world. And he is telling you that the world is not unreal, it is your defective seeing. So that's why knowledge and ignorance. What would be the right seeing and what would be the wrong seeing? At a lower level, you are seeing wrongly. When you go up, you will see rightly and then you will see the reality. The problem is not with the world, but it's with your seeing. Okay, that's what he's discussing. So, that's what he said now. For, I'm reading each sentence. For as a matter of fact, while the very key word, okay, the very key word of the ideal creation is a plenary self-consciousness and self-possession in the infinite soul and a perfect oneness. The key word of the creation of which we have at present experience is the very opposite. Okay? So, what's he saying? As a matter of fact, while the very key word of the ideal creation is a plenary self-consciousness, it's a full consciousness. The creation, the world that is being created by the Satchidananda is absolutely perfect. It's a full self-consciousness. But the and the infinite soul and the perfect oneness. There's a oneness and a perfect consciousness. But the key word is in the creation of which we have the present experience is the very opposite. It is not plenary, it is broken. It is not oneness, but it is a many in the physical world. That's what he's saying. It's an original in conscience, developing in life into a limited and divided self-consciousness. The highest is one. When it comes down, it's get broken up into infinite atoms, and from the inconscience of atoms, slowly the perfection is coming up again. Slowly. That's what he's saying. So, from the imperfection, we are going towards perfection.
Yes.
Yes? Is asking a question or something? No. So this much is clear. So now we go to the next phrase. It is an original in conscience developing in life into a limited and divided self-consciousness. Now, absolute unconsciousness in the inconscious and subconscious, and now slowly it's a half consciousness that is coming up. Limited and divided. Divided because we are seeing the many forms and we don't see the oneness. The oneness you can start seeing when you go even higher up. That's what he's saying. Okay. So the problem is with your seeing. So go higher up and make your seeing perfect. You will see the oneness and the perfect creation you will be able to see. It's like seeing something through broken glasses. If you replace your broken glasses with good glasses, with good spectacles, you will see the fullness. That's what is being said. Okay? It's an original inconscience developing in life. In life, first is life out of inconscience. Limited and divided self-consciousness, an original inert subjection to the drive of a blind, self-existent force. In the physical world, there is force but unconscious, developing in life into a struggle of the self-conscious being to possess himself and all things and to establish in the kingdom of this unseeing mechanical force the reign of an enlightened will and knowledge. In the beginning, there is total unconsciousness, but there is force. Okay, this force is mechanical and unconscious. The river is flowing, the wind is blowing, there is no consciousness in it. It seems like that, but there is a hidden consciousness inside which is struggling to come out. And when it starts coming out, the first manifestation of this coming out is life. And life is trying to master itself. The plants and the animals, they are trying to become master of the environment. Okay. But they don't succeed. It's only partial. That's what he's saying. When man comes in, the success becomes even more intense, but still it is imperfect. It's a growing, it's a gradation towards the perfection. Gradation from ignorance to knowledge. That's what he's saying. And because the blind mechanical force, okay, there's a force in matter, no? We know that. And in the world we see the mechanical force. Just one second. Yeah. And because the blind mechanic force, we know now really that there is no such thing. There is no mechanical force. The force is hidden. The force is hiding the consciousness behind itself. It's like, as I told you, it is like the prompter on the stage. No? When the actor forgets, you don't see the prompter in the wings, he is whispering to you. So exactly like that, he is guiding you. This is the instinct in all animals, okay, which is there behind and telling the animal what to do and what not to do. But the outer mind of the animal is not conscious of what it is doing. It does it mechanically. So there is a consciousness even in that which seems to be unconscious. That's what he's saying. You have the idea of the involution. There's an involution and it involves itself in the force. Consciousness involves and disappears into the force at the lowest level. At the highest level is the opposite. The consciousness becomes full and the force is hidden in it. And the force is hidden in it because it is static. Remember, the immutability at the highest level and total mutability at the lower level. And consciousness and force are exactly inversely proportional to each other. At the highest level, full consciousness. At the highest level, force is there but inactive. It is held back. Like horses about to start a race, but they are not starting, they are static. At the lowest level, the horses are in full play. The force is doing everything. Everything is in motion. And the motion is hiding the consciousness inside. As you keep going up higher and higher, the proportion changes. So this is, you can call the consciousness Purusha and you can call the force, okay, Prakriti. So this is the relation between the two. The higher and the lower, they are opposite. As you keep going higher and higher, the proportions change between consciousness and force. As you keep going higher and higher, consciousness increases and you get more and more silence. And as you keep coming down, you get the opposite. The force becomes more and more mechanical and the consciousness starts hiding inside. This is basically what he is saying. But at the third level, both are equal to each other. There is force as well as there is consciousness. And that is the reason why at the third level of the supermind, you are able to even change your body and do whatever you want with the body. In the second level, a little bit of power is there, but not full. Okay? Now, we know now really that it is no such thing. What is that? Mechanical force. It is not. There is a consciousness hiding in the force. Confronts us everywhere. Initial, omnipresent, the fundamental law, the great total energy, because the only enlightened will we know, our own, appears as a subsequent phenomenon, a result, a partial subordinate, circumscribed, sporadic energy. The struggle seems to us at the best a very precarious and doubtful venture. Consciousness is slowly, in the evolution, consciousness is slowly increasing. But even at our level, we find that there is a consciousness, we see and we can operate that consciousness and knowledge. That is what science is doing, but still it is imperfect. That's what he's saying. And you see that the knowledge that is coming up is partial, subordinate to the force, and circumscribed. Circumscribed means limited. The circumference of a circle circumscribes the inner part. Okay, so you are circumferenced, if you want to put it in a flexible language, and it is sporadic energy. Once in a while you get, because there is also tamas there. The energy is not full, it is sporadic. Sporadic means in bursts, in bits and pieces. It's going on, coming up like that. Okay, and then you feel that the struggle to us human beings at the best is a very precarious and doubtful venture. The consciousness is not at all reliable. That's what he's saying. Okay, the inconscient to our perceptions is the beginning and the end. The material man sees the physical world and he thinks that that's the beginning and the end. There's nothing else. That's what the materialist opinion is. But the self-conscious soul seems hardly more than a temporary accident. The self-conscious soul is not seen by you. It's a more than a temporary accident. Seems hardly more than a temporary accident. A fragile blossom upon this grey, dark and monstrous Ashwatha tree of the universe. We have discussed the Ashwatha tree. It is one of the largest trees in India, but it is not the banyan tree. Huh? So it's a very large tree, and we discussed also the image of the Ashwatha tree. The roots are above and the branches are below. In other words, the one is above and below it becomes the many. Okay? And when you are in the many, you see the many and think it is real. Consciousness is hiding in the many, but you don't see it. As you keep rising higher and higher, you start seeing it. Or if we suppose the soul to be eternal, because sometimes you can get a glimpse of the soul, even then it disappears in the beginning. Okay? If we suppose the soul to be eternal, it appears as a foreigner, an alien, and not over well-treated guest in the reign of this vast inconscience. This is a very interesting sentence what he's saying, because when you first get that glimpse, okay, I have got two poems in French by well-known poets, okay, Shirley Prudhomme and also another one, who speak exactly of this. Okay, I'll try and get the poems next time. If you remind me, please remind me, and I'll tell you, because I'll have to translate the French into the English, and you will see exactly what Sindhu is saying. A foreigner, an alien. I'll tell you what the gist of that poem is. You feel that there's somebody inside you which you don't know. Okay, you don't know who it is, but he is absolutely calm and quiet, and he is helping you. He is a very big friend, but you don't know who he is, from where he has come, what is his nation, what is his race, you don't know. That's exactly the poem, the two poems which are there. I think one is Paul Verlaine and another is Shirley Prudhomme. I'll get the poems, keep it on my table, translate them and tell them to you next time if you remind me. Okay, I'll try and do that. I have to recover the poems and get the gist. I have got it somewhere written out, but I have to translate it for you. Okay, so I'll do that. This is exactly what Sindhu is saying. I am saying all these things because look at Sindhu's language. What he's saying in one sentence, others are experiencing. Okay, a foreigner, there's something inside you, but he's a foreigner. You don't know him, and yet you are conscious of him. Okay, and an alien, you don't know from where he is. If you remember these two words, foreigner and alien, okay, and I'm going to actually highlight these two words, and I will add those two poems, okay, later on. Where's it gone? Yeah. Okay, and yes, I have done that, and I will add the comment afterwards. This is what he's saying. So very faintly, sometimes in the physical world, you can realize your soul or even your self. Okay? But they are not, they seem to be unknown to you, yet you know that they are your friends and they are helping you. And there is even a love between them, okay, the self and yourself. But it is not over well treated because you forget and you ignore the guest. The guest is the psychic being or the self. You get a glimpse of it, but it's not very well treated. Why? Because you ignore it. You get a glimpse of it and it disappears. It's an alien, it's a foreigner. Okay? There is the experience of the self and the psychic being. If not an accident in the inconscient darkness, it is perhaps a mistake, a stumble towards the superconscient light. This also, there are many Europeans who say that the world is an error. It has been made wrongly. It is full of imperfections. I can't give you the exact reference, but there are. It's a madhouse. There is suffering. There is pain. There is. What is it made for? Why is it made? It's a big mistake. Okay, a stumble downwards in the superconscious light. So, very interesting what Sri Aurobindo says in one sentence in two words. Others are experiencing and it becomes a huge affair for them. That's the interesting part. The two words here, foreigner and alien, you will see when I read out those two poems from you for you after the translating. You will see what Sri Aurobindo is saying. Foreigner and alien, only two words he has used, but two poets in France are making a poem out of it. Okay, that's the interesting part. Okay, I'm sorry I'm taking, but when I read that poems out, you will see what I'm saying. It's absolutely a very interesting thing. Okay, we go to the next para. If this view of things has a complete validity. So we read, yeah, tell me.
Then what is exactly an alien is if it is not foreigner? When you are telling that there is a similarities between alien and foreigner, so what is exactly an alien is?
Alien is somebody who is from another, not your field, not your country. Okay.
That's all. Not your country, not your field means for a otherwise means it is a foreigner only who is not.
No, so your question is a valid one, and I will check. Okay, I'll note down the difference between foreigner and alien. Okay, I'll do that. I'm not sure now. That's why I won't say. But this is also part of what we'll discuss next Wednesday, because tomorrow is some other class. No, so on Wednesday I'll give you the two poems and also the difference between foreigner and alien. Okay, I'm sorry I can't do that now because I'm not sure. They seem to be the same, but I'm sure there is a difference. Because Sri Aurobindo has used the two words, there must be a difference. Okay? So now, so somebody has to read the next para. If this view of things.
Rangada?
Yes.
Isn't alien means the extraterrestrial creature like ET, you know, life from the planet outside of the Earth, isn't it?
That's what they use. The word alien is used in that sense. So, but it may not, because the word alien existed before we discovered the ones coming from outside, no? Because these flying, flying saucers and all that is a recent phenomena. But the word alien existed much before that. So, Shruti, what you're saying, right? Today the word is used in that sense, from outside the ego.
Okay. But originally was not, okay.
Yeah. So, read this one, if this view of things. You got 15 minutes. Yeah. So, Shruti, yeah, read it.
Okay, I will read.
Yeah, go ahead.
If this view of things had a complete validity, then only the absolute idealist, sent perhaps out of some higher existence, unable to forget his mission, stung into indomitable enthusiasm by a divine oestrus, or sustained in a calm and infinite fortitude by the light and force and voice of the unseen Godhead, could persist under such circumstances in holding up before himself, much more before an incredulous or doubting world, the hope of a full success for the human endeavor. Actually, for the most part, men either reject it from the beginning or turn away from it eventually after some early enthusiasm, as a proved impossibility. The consistent materialist seeks a partial and short-lived power, knowledge, happiness, so much only as the dominant inconscient order of nature will allow to the struggling self-consciousness of man, if he accepts its limitations, obeys her laws, and makes as good a use of them by his enlightened will as their inexorable mechanism will tolerate. The religionist seeks his reign of enlightened will, love, or divine being, his kingdom of God, in that other world where they are unalloyed or eternal. The philosophic mystic rejects all as a mental illusion and aspires to self-extinction in some nirvana or else as an immersion in the featureless absolute. If the soul or mind of the illusion-driven individual has dreamed of a divine realization in this ephemeral world of the ignorance, it must, in the end, recognize its mistake and renounce its vain endeavor. But still, since there are these two sides of existence, the ignorance of nature and the light of the spirit, and since there is behind them the one reality, the reconciliation, or at any rate, the bridging of the gulf forecast in the mystic parables of the Veda, ought to be possible. It is a keen sense of this possibility which has taken different shapes and persisted through the centuries. The perfectibility of man, the perfectibility of society, the Alva's vision of the descent of Vishnu, and the gods upon earth, the reign of the saints, Sadhu Nam Rajyam, the city of God, the millennium, the new heaven and earth of the apocalypse. But these intuitions have lacked a basis of assured knowledge, and the mind of man has remained swinging between a bright future hope and a great present certitude, and a gray present certitude. But the gray certitude is not so certain as it looks, and a divine life evolving or preparing in earth nature need not be a chimera. All acceptations of our defeat or our limitation start from the implied or explicit recognition, first of an essential dualism, and then of an irreconcilable opposition between the dual principles, between the conscient and the inconscient, between heaven and earth, between God and the world, between the limitless one and the limited many, between the knowledge and the ignorance. We have arrived by the train of our reasoning at the conclusion that this need be no more than an error of the sense mind and the logical intellect founded upon a partial experience. We have seen that there can be and is a perfectly rational basis for the hope of our victory. For the lower term of being in which we now live contains in itself the principle and intention of that which exceeds it, and it is, by its own self-exceeding and transformation into that it can find and develop into a complete form, its own real essence.
Yeah, quite a big para, and we have about 10 minutes. So what I'll do is we'll have to go in detail because he has spoken about the alvars and all that. So we'll just, I'll do one thing now. I'm reading out as if possible. Yeah, I've got it. I'm reading out the summary. Okay, then we will do this next time in detail, but also I'll tell you about the alvars. We have got just time for that. Who are the alvars? Okay, so what he's saying here is, if this view is valid, then there is hope. Then there is hope here of any change. So that means to say, if what we are saying is right, okay. Look at Sharna's language. He doesn't say what I'm saying is right. He's asking you to conditional. If you believe what I'm saying, then this could be the result. Such humility. This is a fantastic thing. Okay. So he's saying, if this view is right, what is this view? That there is. It is not that the spirit above is perfect and the spirit, the earth below, the physical manifestation, the physical world is absolutely unreal permanently. This is not true. If this our view, this our opinion is valid, then there is hope. Hope of what? Of conquering the imperfections here and even in the physical world, bringing down the divine perfection. That's what he's saying. So, what can man do? That's what he's discussing here. Then he's discussing the various views that are there. First of all, the materialist, then the religionist, then the philosopher, and then the yogi. Okay? So this is discussing one by one. So he's saying the materialist, okay, for the materialist, there are two solutions: to enjoy life to the full or do philanthropic work. Because even among the materialists, there are some more idealists. No? Think of the communists, okay? Their ideal is great. They want everybody to be happy and they want equal distribution of property and things. They want absolute equality, communism. But when it comes down to actual practice, it becomes very, very distorted. So the materialist can be an idealist. but he doesn't believe that there is anything else. So he can enjoy life fully. Okay, like he has said in the Life Divine elsewhere, to live his life in double quotes. That's what he has used. To live his life, enjoy, because there is no tomorrow. There is only one life, and why waste it? Use it to the full. Enjoy what you can. Okay? That's one view. But the other view is a materialist who is slightly more idealistic. Let me help those who are in poverty and those who are suffering. So that's a philanthropic work. Now he comes to the religionist. What are the choices for him? The materialist has two choices. Not God, not yoga, but little more philanthropic work, morality. The religionist, one who believes that there is God. Okay, what about him? He seeks his solution in a perfect heaven, not here in the world. So the one who believes in God says, I want to go to God. God is not available here, so it is useless to be here. I withdraw from the world and go to the divine who is up there. That's the religionist view. He is discussing the various views. Now the philosophic view. The philosophic mystic seeks his solution in a nirvana of extinction. He doesn't even care for there is no heaven. The world is unreal and I want to get away from the world and go back to the origin of all things, which is a infinite zero. That's the Mayavadic theory and the Buddhistic theory. He is discussing all the possible theories. Then he comes finally, still there is a soul of man that always yearns for perfection. So that's it. There are people who yearn for perfection. There are many who see the divine up there and they want to go to him. But Sridhar is saying, no, the physical world also is created by God. So why not we try and perfect that? If God has made it, perfection is not there. It is apparent that it is only appearance. So there has to be a perfection hiding behind the imperfection. Let us get that. That's what Sridhar is the fourth solution. First solution, materialist. Second solution, religion. Third solution, the extinction. And the fourth one, perfection even in the physical world. Now Sridhar is saying, we have seen by our investigation, because the whole Life Divine until now, okay, is only looking for the reality. And we have reasoned one by one and we have seen that there is a connection between the highest and the lowest. And we have discussed all the details of Sat, Chit, Shakti and matter, if you remember. Okay. Then we have seen by our investigations that the lower and the higher are not opposites, but they are very much connected. And a perfect divine life upon earth is not an irrational whole. It's very, very rational, and certainly we can have a perfection here which is evolving. That's what Sridhar is saying. Okay. So this is what we'll redo this one because it's a very long one and he is convincing you that perfection here is possible. Now, just a brief, we'll redo this again next time, but here put Sadhunam Rajyam, and he has also spoken about the Alvars. So who are these Alvars? Okay. Maybe some of you don't know, or maybe some of you know. But the Alvars are the 12 supreme devotees of Vishnu in the Tamil culture. Okay. They were there, they are real, historical figures. It's not symbolic. They are real. They were saints. There were 12 of them. And they popularized the Vaishnava tradition and the philosophy. They were all devotees of Vishnu. Okay. So, these in the Tamil culture, I mean, they are given a very high place. Okay. They are all from, now I am reading further. They are all from different regions and different castes. So there is no caste system also there among the Alvars. Okay. They are all from different regions and different castes. The first three Alvars are the Poigai Alvar. The second one is Bhudat Alvar. The next is Pei Alvar. These are all are born miraculously. That's a tradition. I mean, that can't be true because you have to be born biologically and not miraculously, but that's a tradition. Okay. In other words, it's an exaggeration that they were their perfect nature, but you take that to the extreme and you start believing that they have been born miraculously. Then the fourth is another Alvar, he is the son of a sage. Then the fifth one also, these names are all Tamil names, so I will not be able to pronounce them correctly. Tondara Podi Alvar. Then the sixth one is Madhura Kavi. Okay? Madhura Kavi. Then the next one is Peri Alvar. Then Andal. Andal was a lady. Okay? And they were all Brahmins. They were all from different castes. Then the ninth one is Kulasekara Alvar. He is a Kshatriya. Then there is Nammalvar. Sridhar has translated Nammalvar's poems. Okay. He has translated in the translations volume. Nammalvar's poems are there. He was a Vaishya. And then there is Tiruppan Alvar, who was he was a very low caste. Okay. Then Tirumangai, he is the 12th. So these are the 12, and they were all devotion to Vishnu. That's what he has mentioned here. I made a note of it. Okay. So next time, we are now in 8:34. So next time we will redo this one. What he is saying. He is saying that perfection is possible, although there are all these opinions. The materialist has an opinion, the religionist has an opinion, the philosophic attitude is one, and finally, Sridhar's own view that a perfection is possible. Okay. So we stop here today, and we will redo this one. So Sunki has to note down. She notes down perfectly. So Sunki, so we'll do that. If this view of things has a complete, we'll redo this one, sentence by sentence. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, today we are only three of you because Yasmin is traveling, and Archana Di also has left a little early. She has got work, she is busy, she is a doctor, so she has left.
Yes.
Okay, au revoir, both of you, Sonki and Shilpa. See you.
Thank you.